Welcome to everybody to the Radio TIKHIY DOZHD, a little corner of creative chaos hosted by your truly thwarted mycelium. So, today is just a chatting stream. For today, for one part is about the hour, and other things about I just want to chill, do nothing special. In general, just because I wanted to talk a little about with you people. So I don't know if I will talk a little about something special or something else. But I don't know. I just thought of about that. How to say that any excuse is good enough to improve my language competence. So just even for 1 hour 30 minutes is always better of nothing. Also because yesterday for some things I didn't went in stream. I didn't went live or stream, how you want to see. And I want remember for who is following from Twitch, because I'm actually going the streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time, so with a purpose to say how it works. Is going well. Eventually I will stream in both the platform. And I was thinking what I wanted to say for that. Who is following me on the platform, purple platform Twitch? There is some comments, but well being not how to say. I'm bubbling already. uh, that who is following me on Twitch can check about the comments. For now I know that it exists just about codes, not codes, comments for Twitch. For YouTube, I don't know. I'm serious, I don't know. So what about can I talk? One thing, for example, that in general don't made big different change about the graphic of the for the stream. For the main thing is the line where you can see the news, let's say in this way, that I will use for the notify what we are going to do in the live, sorry, or in general some kind of news with the purpose of to not to have to write always everything like how to say, for example, if I will not able to stream in a one day, I will write in the line, or for example, about we are going to do during the stream, or and any other kind of thing. And I consider so utile, so uh, let's check, because I I don't know if it happens also to you, but to me there is this problem, constant problem, that I know the things like grammar or word, etc. But at the moment when I have to write or say something, my brain go down, stops to work in certain sense. And what I wanted, that the word was useful, that the line of the news is useful for not repeating always the same information about everything, and it's pretty useful. So why the music is not going? Okay, it's proper. Okay. No. Okay. Corrected. So what else can I to say? Uh, pa, pa, pa. Another thing that I did is change a little bit about the schedule for the lives, because I was thinking to alternate days of creative writing with activity of learning languages, and sometimes for some kind of activity I can do a hybrid of these two. Also, and theoretically today I had to stream about languages with half of the live of the stream in English for improving English, and the other half improving my Russian languages. But for today, more for the hour, I decided to do not that. Only talking with the purpose of improving my English. Not wanting to, how to say, spend the time just talking, because I know that at a certain time I don't know, I will know what I will not know what others things say. I wanna check if there is some interesting. What's happened? Sometimes happens that my computer decides to go crazy. I don't know for what kind of reason, or simply why. And give me the black screen for a moment. Meanwhile, I was thinking now, for example, I was thinking as one of the projects to create a it's called a personal and yeah, I was thinking about something like that, and why not? But I have to see what many people will be accept this kind of a thing. I am seeing that OBS is seeing that there is a big drops frame is problematic, pretty much. I will try to close this and see if I improve the situation, because I don't know if it will improve the situation. I don't know. Theoretically now it will return to normal. So what I was saying, that in general I was thinking to create a personal uh, a personal newsletter, but I have to see how to put in my already full schedule, because we have to consider many things about it. For example, the fact that I, out from streaming I have the uni. Meanwhile, I have about writing the story about Subway Surfers. In particular, I have to continue because I don't want pass also this week with the third chapter, even more when we have the general structure. What else? Reading, because I want also talk about the streaming, about reviewing a book that I read recently, and I was thinking about creating new content for YouTube channel, in particular writing things, not about writing things but in general content for YouTube channel, because in general I think is good for, on one hand, to improve my languages, make it better, but at the same time to create some kind of content different from the streaming, also considering the fact that theoretically, in the theory, I am able to stream at the same time on YouTube and Twitch for now, and I think it's pretty useful, and does not give me a headache about after create modify the stream and go and publish it on YouTube. At least under this point of view I resolved theoretically the problem. Meanwhile, what else we can say, because I don't know if we open a browser, because I have some browser, and because also I wanted check about something interesting to read and comment about, mainly for that. React also. I'm just curious to look at my profile. Okay, I accept and go to archive of our own. Okay, no, stop it. I have to continue. One for me, because after let's say give the bird it, I don't want to abort it already, even even before finishing the novel, because I think that there is a big potential for it. And on Wattpad we are on the same level. No big deal. It's a shame. It's a big shame. Let's go on, for example, BBC. Let's see if there is something interesting to read. Politic? No, I don't know. I don't want to talk about politics. Oh, fun fact. I am on BBC's website, bbc.com news/news, and without wanting it, let's say in this way, I let's change a little. I want to improve. Okay. Let's say go. Okay. Let's see if everything. This Pavarotti statue frozen knee deep in ice rink, striking wrong, not in Italy. This was a recent news that talked about Italian news, ecco, because I was in my mind there was Italian version, TG, abbreviation of telegiornale, and some days some time ago, there was this, and I listen. Let's no. I heard about this and I say it to my family because we watched it together. How first the first thing you can say, how can you be so silly, let's say a good word, to think that this is a good idea? One, there is already looking at this without this. One, there is the risk to make some damage to the statue. Number two, you are risking the wealth or health, the goodwill of the people who will go in the ice rink. How you think this is a good idea? Research a different place to do that, not placing anyway and putting placing it anyway like nothing, hoping that anyone will talk about this. Let's prove chatting and talking about news. Okay, better. Hello, Thornton. How are you? I'm Manuel. I am in general pretty well, and in general, I don't think I've something different about is going well in my life for now. Just that I made some change about the graphic and trying to streaming on YouTube and Twitch at the same time. We will go. We will see how it will go. Just that's the main thing. And I just thought remember now. Maybe I resolved about the audio, and maybe for after this I can we can react in the future stream on YouTube without go crazy between off putting off the microphone and putting on the case and al contrario and after putting off the case and putting on the microphone and going on, maybe in the future we will resolve this. And not wanting talking about noting after a while, I went on BBC website. In particular, without wanting it, I see the news. This news happened in Italy. Pavarotti statue frozen knee deep in ice ring strikes wrong, not in Italy. That I strikes wrong. No, okay. No, I want to translate. Okay, translate website. Okay, accept. Let's see how congelat fino a cieca nella pista. Okay, I understand now better the title, and I'm happy. Pavarotti, this is the Pavarotti, not a singer, but because yes, he sing in the past, because but it's not a singer. How we mean? Who is? Rifiuta. Luciano Pavarotti. How I remember it, died in 2007, if not wrong with the pronunciation. Was an Italian operatic lyric tenor who was considered one of the finest bel canto opera singers of the 20th century. And that statue reminds me Danny DeVito. Let's check because I don't know if I know Danny. I know for he maybe I. The face is familiar to me. This. Wow. Yes, maybe I know by face, I think. Open image. Yeah, a little bit I remember also to me Pavarotti statue to Danny DeVito. I would never think about it. Interesting. And this woman doesn't seem or better, this woman seems to be a little pissed off about something. She doesn't seems happy about something, and I'm sure about that statue because many people everywhere talk in a negative way about this statue everywhere because this I don't remember what where was. At least maybe it is. Let's check. No, I don't think this is. I think yes. Ah no, il resto è già quotidiano. Ok, it's not that. Opera star Luciano Pavarotti is stato seen early in the year in the town of Pesaro, and in November surrounded by an ice ride. Then Pesaro, I understand. Let's check. Of Pavarotti, where is it located? Via Modena, ok. Wait, Pesaro? If I'm not wrong, Pesaro. Interesting, pretty good. It's very interesting to see that with this. It's beautiful to see how with little you can discover many things about people. It's pretty interesting. How to say? I don't know what should I say about it. In on one point, part is I have to say good because for example, I live in the south of Sardinia, Cagliari. So it's pretty interesting to know about it. Even I don't know if you are the first. Let's check. Yes, you were the first person to follow it. Then yeah, because I remember about someone who was from Italy. Then you are, because another user of the community is from Istanbul, if I'm not wrong. At least because we are few people for now. Let's say it's easy for now to remember all the information. It's beautiful to know there is another person from Italy. Quindi in italiano mi verrebbe da dire benvenuta nella mia community, o come direi più che altro tra amici, perché because say user follow it a little how to say a little sad to say, but in general. Then, knowing you are from Pesaro, I'm curious about how is the weather in the how to was struck in your hometown. How is weather? Because here in my house is freezing already, inside and outside the home, literally. Meanwhile, let's try to read something to spend a little time together, because this news was talked. It's correct. It's told. Check. Translate. I even remember the. No, I want it in English. It's been talked about everywhere. Okay, now it sense, because before I was black. A short circuit in my mind, and I was not remembering the phrase out on the list. My brain stopped to understand the structure of the phrase, so it's been talked about everywhere. And I knew that also outside Italy was this news was talked pretty much. So, Pavarotti statue frozen knee deep in ice rink strike wrong, not in Italy. And I have just to say, who decided this thing was had to be done? I don't know if in English has makes sense in general, but in the doubt we will say it this way, at least for today, because to have this idea and say it's a good idea put in the half of the rink the statue of someone risking to create damage to damage the statue, and one should risk to for the well-being of the people. So it's pretty, let's say, silly thing to do this. Even more when you do that work, you do some kind of job. So here is right. An Italian mayor has apologized to the family of opera star Luciano Pavarotti after town of Pesaro was here right. Encased statue honoring the late singer with a Christmas ice rink. The singer's widow, Nicoletta Mantovani, told the local media that she was angry and upset at what she called the decision to ridicule her late husband. To this thing, the widow, the Nicoletta Mantovani, the miss for who is married or in general a grown person, female person, woman, Miss Mantovani is right. It's stupid decision for who did this. Pretty stupid. The temporary ice rink was constructed in the center of the town's piazza, leaving Pavarotti statue knee deep in ice and surrounded by perspex walls. In response, Mayor Andrea Biancani said that he didn't mean to offend anyone and admitted that his council had made a mistake. Not a little one mistake here, because how you can't don't know that in certain place there is some kind of important things like a statue. How could you not how could you forget about this? This is one thing. How much horrible to see this poor statue of someone in general, important or no, in this way. Here so is written, before it was opened on 29th of November, Biancani posted a doctored image of Pavarotti's statue playing ice hockey with the hashtag Dai un 5 a Pavarotti, which translated to give an high five to Pavarotti. I didn't expect a town would allow this treatment of the memory and the image of a person who made Italy great around the world, Miss Mantovani told the local outlet Il Resto del Carlino. She accused the council of making a poorly executed, absurd decision. The life-size bronze statue was officially unveiled in Pesaro in April 2024, with Miss Mantovani and the couple daughters Alice in attendance. The couple often holidayed in Pesaro, where Pavarotti had a villa and was an honorary citizen. Literally, just looking at this photo, poor the statue was so beautiful to see in this way. What did you wrong to receive this treatment? In general, not because it's Pavarotti, but in general for a statue. Why? Even it's horrible, this thing. Pretty horrible. One moment, Okay, I'm here. Meanwhile, the news continue with Biancini told Il Resto del Carlino, which nicknamed the incident Pavarotti on Ice, that when plans for the ice rink were initially presented to him, he was assured that the Pavarotti statue would not be touched, and that it was only later that he found out design had been forced to alter the construction. I'm not convinced about this. He said that it would not be possible to dismantle the rink or move the statue at this late stage, but insisted that it would not happen again. Dismantle, I don't know what those mean. Paste. Ha affermato che non sarebbe stato possibile smantellare la pista o spostare la statua in questa fase avanzata, ma ha insistito sul fatto che non sarebbe successo nulla di nuovo. On one hand, I understand, but on another hand, no. In this case, you have to to do that because for the respect of something that represents the state, Italian state. How it should be a good thing to see a statue without half of its legs when it's created with the entire legs in the entire form. I don't know what to say about this. And here about Pavarotti. Pavarotti was an Italian tenor and is widely known as one of the most successful opera stars of all time. His performance in the three tenor concerts were seen around the world, and his rendition of Nessun Dorma from Puccini's Turandot, I think is correct, which he performed at the 1990 Football World Cup in Italy. His final performance was in the opening of the Winter Olympics in Turin in February 2006. He died the following year at the age of 71 after being diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. What a bad thing. Pavarotti left behind her four daughters from his two marriage. Mr. Pavarotti was his second wife. She remained blah blah blah. Don't give a name to other people who we are not interested at. So this for casuality about it, and I wanted to read it. Let's check, for example, some other okay, it's better. Okay. Let's check some other news. Seven travel trends that will define 2026. Also, I'm pretty curious about the depth of reading. Now looking, but it's audio now. For now, I wanna read something. No. India's Supreme Court applies the right of force, but language reveals bias, study says. Let's check if we can with these books. In general, I was thinking one day on the previous streaming, I was thinking about one thing that it would be interesting. I don't know how much we have to material we have about it, but interesting to have a reflection about the casino. It's not casino, not casino. About the chase, let's say the chase, about the story of the writer who wrote, how was they this little plaything, like something like a horrible thing, basing on what the others says on the what the information we have. A mess, let's say yes, like a mess about some books cases, because one was about a writer, Australian, if I'm not wrong, who wrote that book with the title "They Just a Little Plating," I think something like, where an adult was in love of a people from these people, second people, was a little child. At, uh, just thinking about this is horrible to think about, pretty horrible, but to have a reflection similar, I think it would be interesting. Also about talk about which kind, where is the limit between the freedom of writing everything you want, and at the same time the limit of moral, if not moral, that's fake. How I now I just even remember the Italian word, but it's like moralità. Sorry, about the ethic. So in general, elaborating the phrase about the limit about the freedom, total freedom about writing everything you want, and the morality that puts the limits about you can write. Not that here we don't talk about taboo, but about limitation of what we should or should do right in this case, for the a kind of respect for others. Like in this case, why should you write a story about a relationship between an adult and child, when the child is not capable of understanding some situation, of some things, for example this. And there was also another case I think is interesting, but now I don't remember what kind. But even it was interesting, and that I don't even remember if it was something similar about mass case of this kind. But there were some kind of situation I think they would be interesting to be trattati. This I'm honest, I don't know. Sorry. Be treated, if I'm not wrong. So I don't know. Here I don't. For now, I don't see others things that going to the pub helps men with their mental health. It's a good thing if you do something about improving your health, mental health, or in general your health as a person. It should be the main purpose of us as society. because today when I listen the news or in general I go on the social media, even YouTube and Instagram, etc. I saw this war between which problem is more important, like if any problem is important in our own way, or a war between gender, like one gender is better on another. There is in general this thing that I try to be far away from this problem for war, not because I'm not interested, but I don't understand because why should we make war each other? In general, that reason, and I will never understand. I own a 105-year-old bookshop, but I'm not a really reader. It's pretty interesting to try to read this. Is published on 16th November 2025 by Grace Wood. Holman's has been a bookshop since 1920. I don't know where is. No, refute, paste. Okay, UK. Okay, North Yorkshire. Okay. Okay, in this zone. This okay. Holman's, an independent bookshop in Whitby, celebrated its 105th birthday this month. The building itself dates back into 1768, the year local explorer Captain James Cook left the port aboard HMS Endeavour for his famous expedition to Australia and New Zealand. Current owner Angela O'Connor has written a book about its history. Miss O'Connor has been running the business since 2014, but it wasn't until the 2020 lockdowns that she discovered the shops she had bought had such a fascinating taste. I'm not a reader at all. My husband is the one that enjoys reading in the family, so I started taking up the history books that we've got on the shelf. Huh? So, sorry for our moment of inconvenience, but I had some internal problem about to check, pretty important. So, I'm returning here and we can continue with the live. Let's check. Everything is alright. Yes. Okay, we can continue to read. I'm not a reader at all. My husband is the one that enjoys reading in the family. So I started thinking about the history books that we've got on the shelf and reading to see if I could go any glimpse. I don't know, it's maybe too much. Okay. It should be better now with my voice. Uh, I could get any glimpse into Alman's history, she says. I didn't realize the buildings were that old. So then, when the lockdown allowed us to do more, I went to the country record office in North Allerton. Okay. I didn't realize the building was that old. So then, when the lockdown allowed us to do more, so does mean not from the starting of the what's called, but not the start of the COVID or the lockdown, but a little later when we had some more freedom to go around. She went to check about. She went to the country record office. She found out that half of the shop had been purchased by Ernest and Ada Allman in November 1920, before the couple had bought the other half in 1925. Angela O'Connor celebrated Allman's 105th birthday with Joe Batham, managing director of the Bottoms of Whitby, which is also on Skinner Street. What I wanted. Dad, from when I started to learn something about German, at least of a little of that German, no. For extent, I have to say more like Angela with the Italian G H more than Angela. Angela and her husband Michael run a post office and a convenience store in Donchester for 10 years before they decided to buy a new business. We were just looking anywhere within a 2-hour drive of Donchester. We found almost and knew immediately that we stepped in the place. It was a shop for us, he says. People spoke fondly of it. I know they say the people may make a place, but I think the building has an atmosphere. People spoke. Oh, I know that. Okay. That. That other people say that people make a place, but for Angela is in reality a building that has an atmosphere. In fact, in true Whitby the shop, which always has Bram Stoker Dracula in stock, even has its own poltergeist, says Miss O'Connor. What? I always say that it's ghost of almonds, but things just fall off the shelf with no reasons. John and Kevin McCormack, the grandsons of Ernest and Ada Allman, returned to Whipped for celebration. Good. Grandson dei nipoti. The shop is on Skinner Street in the historic West Cliff, where many of the businesses have been in operation for decades, and building date from the Georgian age when Whitby was a bustling, walling, and shipbuilding port. A moment to read. They started building the Resolution Hotel in 1762 and they got to the middle of the street by 1768, says Mr. O'Connor. The far end of the street is a little bit younger. There is block that was not put up until 1900, yes, but most of it was put up in the 1760s. Okay. Oh, a little bit longer, I think. She believes the store was originally a coaching inn. It was difficult to establish. There was books, articles, and articles writing in newspaper, but the Witty Gazette wasn't established until 1854, almost 100 years later. She says it's about 86. There was talk about taking away a mounting block for people to get in and out of the coach, and that seems to be in the middle of the street. So I think there is the idea that we were the coaching house for first 40 years. Coaches, what does mean? I wanna know. Okay. Ah, stazioni POF. Ah, casa di riposo. I have some doubts. ChatGPT.com, if I'm not wrong. Translate in Italian. Let's check. Intorno al 1860 si parla di rimuovere un blocco di salita per permettere alle persone di entrare e uscire dalle carrozze, che sembra trovarsi in mezzo alla strada, quindi penso che sia l'idea che fossimo la coaching house per i primi 40 anni. In about 1860 there was talk about the gateway, a mountain block for people to get in and out from uh, let's check. Stazione di posta, osteria. Okay, now I know a new word and I can lamentarmi, complain about it. In the meanwhile, the article continues with in the early 1800s, the premises were occupied by Dr. John Milburn, who was a surgeon and the curator of Whitby Museum. In the 1870s, Thomas Baker, a jewelry manufacturer, used the building as a home and business. It was later a greengrocer, a blacksmith shop, draper and haberdasher, and then a post office before becoming a news agent in 1901. That was its late use before becoming a bookshop. Too many new words. Let's check. Ok, uma frutinha. Okay. Good to know. The shop has survived for more than 100 years. Wow. Holman's has been at some usual long-serving booksellers throughout its history. Lily Pybus began working there in 1913 and retired in 1958 after 45 years, and Olive Poulter spent 30 years in the shop from 1944 to 1974. Miss Bronskos worked under 4 sets of honor and helped Mrs. O'Connor with her historical search. I contacted Lainey and she was able to put me in touch with all the previous owner or relatives, and I started emailing her chapters for approval. Unfortunately, she had to have an operation, so she wasn't able to proofread it or tell me if I'd gone wrong anywhere. But poor woman. But after its publication, her only comment was that I had made a spelling mistake. At least, if was a spelling mistake, is the best compliment you can receive as a writer. For me, at least, I think it's a good thing to know. And Mrs. O'Connor was able to get in touch with Ada and Ernest's grandsons, Kevin and John McCormack, who joined them for the centenary celebrations. Leon Bruscal, she retired from Parliament early this year after 48 years. She celebrated with Kevin McCormack, grandson of Ernest and Ada Allman, on the left. No. I was reading a posting without noticing. I literally read all this part, this, and this. No. I'm pretty sad about this thing. Pretty sad. Okay, we are already at the end. What the fuck? Thank God that I have looking at the streaming in another phone, in another texture object to control everything. If it wasn't for that, I would not notice this fact. What a bad thing. I have to check more better. I think I have to in the future put a second monitor, a second screen for check everything, because I can't do everything with one screen. But this is not a moment or a topic for this stream, because we are already finishing for the streaming. The shop has stocked many of the same products for the past 100 years. Paper envelopes, Parker pens. Oh, Parker pens, I know this mark. And the buyers often remark on the nostalgia they feel on entering by the to survive, but to survive in 2025 they have had to start trading online too. Oh, you're listening everything. Okay. It offered an eclectic range to servants of in the 20th century. It acted as the box office for SAPA Pavilion Theatre in the 1920s and 30s, had a subscription library between 1988 and 1960, and even did a tennis racket restringing until 1940s. In the 1980s, I just say 1980s. Maybe I had to say until the 1940s. I don't know if I spelled it correctly. Anyway, in the 1980s, there was a renowned record department in the basement, which had once been Ernest Allman's office. More recently, staff have also taken part in Whitby's first literature festival, which Mrs. O'Connor says pushed up book sales. Despite being its inaugural year, Whitby Lit Fest attracted names such as Miriam Margolyes, Lee Child, Yvette Fielding, and Sir Alan Ayckbourn. These main names I don't know who are, if they are famous people. The store hosted events including a book signing with C.M. Vesey, a local author who writes gothic fiction. Despite change in the book-selling world, 100 years of on the independent store maintains its importance for readers and writers, says Mrs. O'Connor, and she is right. It's their first stepping stone into a bigger world. Cool. Pretty cool. There is another chair. Italian? No. Even for even playing, talking, joking around. German? No. Russian? No. Even I remember that BBC Russian. In fact, I remember Russian. Ok. Oh. Dai Piaz Pavarotti. Miru. Let's put a big. Same photo. Beautiful. Dai Piaz Pavarotti. Миру итальянского города пришлось извиниться за рождественский каток вокруг статуи tenora. This is, for example, in Russian languages. For example, in Italian. Okay. I don't know if. Okay. This page has not been archived, is no longer updated. Okay. Good to know. Let's check a little bit, but I see it too long. In another stream we can read it. Мир итальянского города Pesaro Andrea Biancani извинился перед семьей Luciano Pavarotti за то, что статуя великого тенора оказалась замурована в рождественском катке. На городской площади Пезаро построили временный ледовый каток, из-за чего статуя Паваротти оказалась окружена стенами из аргстекла по колено в льду. I have to improve pretty much the Russian language. Meanwhile, So we arrived to the end of the streaming that I have to consider it went pretty well on both the platforms, Twitch and YouTube. Today we read some articles, in particular two, one about Italy war context society, and the second about uh, the reading, the about a bookshop, a historical bookshop. It's pretty. One thing in Opsi. One thing that I consider pretty interesting, it was that today we learned some new words, at least from my point of view. And it was interesting to talk with other people of the community, other friends of the community that share with me some characteristic things in common, like being living in Italy. For today, I think it went pretty good. It was a chill, calm stream that I will leave both on the platform if you wasn't in situation to follow from the start. With this, I want to say goodbye to all my friends and say that I will return to tomorrow with a new stream session. In particular, maybe with a new session of writing, continuing writing the chapter, maybe the third chapter of the new chapter. Who knows? We will see together tomorrow. Bye bye.